Hey y'all, IrixGuy here, and I hope y'all can hear me okay. I am in the studio, and I do have actually drastically improved acoustics, and I'm going to do a review on that. You can check it out on my website, IrixGuy.com. It's Acoustimac sound panel, acoustic panels. Super nice, super cool. And I'm going to flip to another camera here, and I'm going to show you. And let's see, don't forget to super chat. You can super chat, you can super sticker if you choose to do so. This is another live show. This is episode 80, episode 80 of IrixGuy's live show. So we're just going to go into a lot of different stuff here. Let me switch to my camera here, this other camera. I'm going to give you a quick studio tour here. So you can see here, and I hope y'all can see this. This is a new feature in my live streaming, but I've got, so these panels on the wall, you can see right there, there's gray, and I tried to make them, you know, as good looking as possible, but I got purple over there, and then I've got purple, and then I've got gray, and then purple, and gray, and purple, and we're kind of scrolling around here. And then you'll see I've even got, underneath the desk, I've even got purple lighting. LED lighting, just to make it look kind of professional, you know. I mean, again, I'm an independent YouTube channel, so everything that you see here is a product of my own abilities. So, you know, your support is deeply appreciated. You know, super chat, Patreon, simply subscribing to the channel, sharing with others, liking my videos. I mean, that's more than acceptable. So you can see here, I've got this big desk that I put in my studio, and then over there I've got another light, LED light, giving it a purplish look in that corner. And I'll walk over here. Actually, I'm going to get off the microphone for a second. I'm going to walk around and show you close up. Oh, this is my live streaming right here. How cool is that? Look, that's my live stream. So this is how I'm controlling the multiple cameras. You can see here there's my primary studio camera. Here's my intro, and then there's my outro, and then this is the little iPhone camera that I'm on right now. I don't know, this just kind of nerds me out, you know. You got, and that's my and you can find that one of my most recent videos, the blender that I use. Man, that stuff is wicked good. It's a good little thing. But let me walk around the studio here, and I'm going to give y'all a tour of the studio updates. And this is a first time seeing this, so you know, feel like a VIP. You know, you're among the first people to see the new IrixGuy's Adventure Channel studio. So let me get up and about here, and I'm going to show y'all around. Audio for a moment, because I'll be away from the microphone. Audio will be temporarily unavailable because I'll be walking around, but I'm just going to show you the close-ups of the different areas. So here we go. Got the panels here. I got my A7R Mark IV. I got my extra, that down there is the extra lenses. This right here is my live show webcam. Now, obviously, right now I'm doing a handheld webcam so I can show you around the studio. The microphone now, and y'all can see I've been at work, you know, getting this getting the studio upgraded. Again, being an independent YouTuber, and my nose is running. And because of COVID-19, you don't want to touch your face. So I'm just going to kind of touch right there on my arm where I haven't touched anything. Oh, and keep in mind, if you're opening boxes and that sort of thing, if you're carrying boxes, often those boxes can make contact with more than your hand. So, keep in mind that if you're carrying a box, your forearm, potentially all the way up to your elbows, maybe your shirt, or if you're topless when you're doing it, your chest, all of that could make contact with the COVID. So just be aware of that. We got Philippe right here. Welcome aboard, man. I know your travels were temporarily canceled because of the COVID, but that's gonna be awesome, man. When you get to go to Anguilla and also St. Bart's, can't wait to hear rather, and if you post videos, see your videos and what you thought about St. Bart's and Anguilla as well. But yeah, today in the studio, just getting a few things optimized. At the beginning of this live show, I showed y'all around the studio some of the things I've done recently. And again, I am an independent YouTube channel, so everything you see is the product of my own efforts here. So, if you choose to support the channel, super chat, patreon.com/IrixGuy. You can find a link to that within this video's description. Not going to do the e-begging and this, that, and the other. That's not my style. But just kind of providing everyone with an update for how how the studio is evolving. It's not a YouTube studio is not a simple thing. I mean, there's a lot of things that that the YouTube channel has to take into consideration if they're making their studio better. I mean, audio should always be paramount. Something that and I give a pat on the back to all my viewers. In the beginning, talking about the audio and something that IrixGuy's Adventure Channel neglected in the beginning was audio. They were about video and and amplifying the quality of the video, but they neglected audio. So audio now, and I hope you're getting great audio out of this microphone, but audio now, and not just a good microphone, but also room acoustics. Having all the acoustical treatments like I have in IrixGuy's Adventure Channel. I mean, all of that comes into play. Philippe says, when do you think that we will be able to travel again? Any guess? Well, that's a great question, and it's one of those things. It's when I'm out and I'm socially distancing myself from others, I often hear airplanes above, and I see airplanes, and I don't see as many airplanes or hear as many airplanes as I have in the past, but they're still moving around. So when I see that, I'm thinking to myself, is that someone with a private jet that has a large enough jet where everybody's 6 feet apart, or is that a commercial airliner? I mean, it's one of those things you don't really know what you're seeing. And I think as far as traveling again, I don't think it's a question of hold on, I'm going to take a sip of this wonderful beverage. I don't think it's a question of when will we be able to travel again, but I think it's more of a when will it be safe and relaxing to travel again. I mean, I'll be frank, and I mean, I'm not trying to work people up here with this, with this comment or whatever, but there is no way that I'm getting on an airplane anytime soon. I mean, it's the core of IrixGuy's Adventure Channel is travel. Adventure. Travel is a huge component of adventure. And, like Philippe that's tuned in right now live, going to St. Martin. He's been to St. Martin before. He's going to go back. He's going to go to Anguilla. He's going to go to St. Bart's. Like Philippe, it's a situation where, you desire something better than your home base. Whether you're from the United States or Europe or wherever, the grass is always greener on the other side. And by saying that, what I mean is that, one is confined to a certain environment many days out of the year. But when they're able to escape that environment and travel and go somewhere new and potentially exciting, it's a refreshing opportunity. And I think now with the pandemic that we're all plagued by, I think now with the pandemic, it's not really a question of when we will be able to travel again. It's more of a question of, when we feel comfortable traveling again. And I know there's a lot of, there will be a lot of politicians. There will be a lot of other organizations that will try to, use their political influence, their financial influence, etc., to try to say, oh, okay, come on, it's all good, come on in, kind of like I'm trying to think of a good analogy, but trying to say that everything's fine before it really is fine, just because of political greed and or financial greed, and it's one of those deals. I mean, with my channel, I've really had to pivot, and I've had to pivot hard because IrixGuy's Adventure Channel is not only drones. IrixGuy's Adventure Channel is all about drones and travel, and and going places that that are off the grid. I don't care about the fancy hotels. I don't care about the this, that, and the other. What I care about is adventure. And adventure to me is getting on a boat. Adventure to me is getting on an airplane. Adventure to me is getting out of Dodge, as many might say, to get the heck out of Dodge and to experience something that is not cookie cutter. I don't care about the resorts. I don't care if it's a $200 a night resort or $1,500 a night resort. That does nothing for me. I really don't. I don't care about the glitz and the glam and this, that, and the other. What I care about with travel is experiencing things that many people wouldn't, number one, choose to experience, and number two, things that people didn't know exist. I mean, the perception, or at least, possibly the false perception of IrixGuy's Adventure Channel is that, there's this host and, he goes to all these exotic locations. This dude must be spending tons of money to go to these places. And the reality is I'm not. Because when I go to these places, I've been to St. Bart's, and I'm going to post a series of videos on that, how to do tech for your needs. Welcome aboard, sir. Welcome aboard. Tech for your needs. Always good to have you on the channel. But yeah, going to all these places, St. Bart's, places that are often perceived as ultra ritzy, and you got to have a yacht to go there. I mean, it's not the truth. I mean, you can go there on a budget. You can mix and mingle, and you can be one of the funniest things about travel, and something that I've always and I won't say the location is Lewis. Welcome aboard, Lewis. Is when you're going to these places and people see you there and people talk to you there. I mean, there's so many personality types in this world. I mean, there's people that are just very chilled and relaxed, and the people that are very chilled out and relaxed, those are the people that are often the most successful. They're there, they don't have anything to prove, they're just having a good time, this, that, and the other. But what has always fascinated me, and it doesn't matter where I go, but when I'm in these locations that are perceived as, the jet setter locations, the yachty locations, this, that, and the other, when I'm in these locations, one of the funniest things and one of the biggest thrills in life has been, while I'm in these locations, it's like, people will come up to you, and a lot of people come up to you, hey man, love your YouTube videos. What do you do? Those types of questions, and this, that, and the other, and then people that, that aren't even talking to you as a product of seeing you on YouTube, the people that you run into, whether you're out to dinner or whatever, and it's a different world. I mean, I'm not a, I'm trying to think of the best way to put it. I don't want to put anybody down. I don't want to alienate any portion of my audience, but, trying to think of a politically correct way to say this, but let's just think of an analogy. So let's just say you're the, here's a good analogy. So you are the, Okay, here's a good analogy. Probably everybody's heard of Pebble Beach Golf Course. Super nice, ultra ritzy golf course out in California. So say that uh, you're the guy at the Pebble Beach Golf Course that you're not the janitor. Maybe you're a step up from the janitor, but you're there and you're out on the golf course with everybody and you're playing with everybody and everybody's shooting the breeze. You got multi-billionaires, you've got multi-millionaires that want to be a billionaire someday, but they haven't achieved that level of success yet. And then you've got the guy or the girl that's just kind of there, and they're playing alongside all these people, and it's like, well, what the heck do you do? One of the most fascinating things is Philippe says, "Do you have your own boat?" I know renting a boat is not cheap. Remember, St. Martin guy told me around $1,000 a day. No, when you're down in the USVI or the BVI, what you want to do is get a captain. And I'm not talking about a fancy yacht. I'm just talking about a catamaran with at least two or more motors on the back. And shoot me a message, and I can shoot you some solid recommendations. You don't. Number one, I wouldn't recommend captaining your own boat unless you are a captain. It's not. It's not safe. You need to go. You need to go with a captain. But yeah, one of the funniest things is just mixing and mingling. And I'm not a sales guy. I'm not. So I'll never forget. I was in Turks and Caicos, and just at a nice restaurant. I mean, it was worth every penny. But I mean, it was a good $100 or so per person per plate. I mean, it was not cheap, but it was worth every penny. But you're in there and you're waiting on your table because obviously I forgot to get reservations, and I'm the guy that walks in. Oh, could you find me a table? And they're like, well, we're full. Did you have a reservation? No, but and then you just kind of shoot the breeze and this, that, and the other, and they seat you. And it was one of those deals where you kind of had to wait in the bar a little bit before getting your table, and I'm there and my wife's there and this, that, and the other, and we're sitting at the bar, and then everybody's trying to it's one of those. It's kind of like the country club type mentality. It's kind of like everybody's trying to prove who's who, and what are you worth, and why are you here, and how are you here. Everybody's got questions, and it's just that component of travel is so interesting because it's like, number one, I don't have anything to prove. I mean, whether I'm on a beach that's a public beach or whether I'm on a beach that's part of a private yacht club, it doesn't matter. That does not matter to me. I mean, what matters to me is the experience and being able to capture the footage, capture the content, and share on my YouTube channel for everyone to enjoy. But some of the situations that I've encountered, one of those being in Turks and Caicos, and I'm in there, I'm just sitting at the bar, my wife waiting on the table, and everybody's shooting the breeze, trying to prove, who's the biggest cool dude in the restaurant or bar or whatever, and I'm not even asking for the business cards, guys tossing me a business card, but what I do remember, and I've still got that business card because it was really cool. It was a really cool experience. This individual gave me a business card, and it was a metal business card. So when they passed the business card to you, you picked it up. It's like, whoa, this is heavy. It was made out of metal, and talking about creating a, and it wasn't a negative first impression. I mean, it was a good experience. It's like, well, who's this guy at the bar? Who's his wife? What are they doing in Turks and Caicos at one of the top restaurants in Turks and Caicos, if not the top restaurant? And they're waiting on their table. They didn't have reservations. Who are these people? And that was a fascinating experience because I've still kept that card to this day. But, it just goes to show, regardless of where someone is geographically, regardless of where someone is, they are the target of sales. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I'm a capitalist. I'm all about entrepreneurship and wealth and creating, one's own wealth. But it's just funny, when you go to these places, and it's not like I'm in there sloppy. I mean, it's not like I'm in a nice restaurant in a pair of board shorts and a wife beater shirt. It's not like I'm in there underdressed. I mean, I'm in there and I got my Rolex on and this, that, and the other. But it's just the whole thing that people, when you're in these environments and you're in the what's perceived as the classy restaurants and the expensive places and this, that, and the other. The false perception is often that, oh, well, so and so must be, whatever. They look at you as a customer. They want to get your business because it's like, well, who is he? What does he do? Why is he here? Why is he fine dining? This, that, and the other. And they can't figure it out, and they want to figure it out, and they want to sell to you. And it's just back to the travel thing. When will we be able to travel again? I mean, it's one of those things. It's when will we be comfortable with traveling again? And I, personally with this channel, I mean, I miss all the experiences. I mean, that was a sales experience in Turks and Caicos, which was funny. And there are other experiences where people will come up and approach you, and it's like it's a weird situation. It's not like you're standing out. It's just like, you're in these places, and most of the time, I mean, not in the restaurants, but on the beaches and this, that, and the other. I mean, I'm just out and about, in the beach. I've got on a pair of board shorts and probably a reef shirt, a rash guard shirt, so I don't get sunburn. But it's just funny, people that'll, you're just out there having a good time, and then you'll see the people that are in these perceived snooty locations, and they're acting all snooty and this, that, and the other. And it's just like, I just don't give, I don't care. I really don't. I mean, I'm just there to have a good time. And it's funny to see how people present themselves in these locations. And this is another story. This was kind of cool, talking about travel, since, Philippe, to your point, to answer your question, I don't know when it's going to be safe to travel again. I'm not gonna rush it. I mean, until this COVID's gone, I'm not gonna try to do it. But I was on another exotic island in the Caribbean, and obviously they're on a budget. Renting a vacation rental for a little bit over $100 US a night. I mean, I'm not throwing the big bucks, but this was kind of a cool story. So we're on one of the popular beaches, and I'll go ahead and tell you what the beach was. It was Honeymoon Beach on St. John. Now, this beach reef, you can't come to shore. So what I thought was funny, these people, and I don't know their names. I don't care to know their names or whatever. And I'm not bashing them as individuals, but I'm just illustrating a point. One of those travel experiences. So, we're all out on the beach, and I'm there with my wife and having some good drinks and just floating around, and this little boat that looks like a dinghy, and it was a dinghy. It pulls up. There's no boat in sight, by the way, big boat. This dinghy pulls up. These guys get out, and they pull up to the mooring buoy, and they tie off at the mooring buoy because you can't even bring your dinghy to shore there. So, they tie up at the mooring buoy, and they make this big scene out of it. Everybody on the beach, not everybody on the beach, but you could tell people on the beach are watching, because people see a dinghy, tourists see a dinghy. They think, oh, that's somebody coming from a big yacht or whatever. And, they think it's cool. So these guys, they pull up, tie off at the mooring buoy, and then they swim to shore. Swim part of the way, walk when it gets shallow. And then they walk up, start walking towards the beach bar. And I had nothing. I was low on the drink that I'd bought, that I'd purchased from the beach bar. Really good drinks, by the way, on Honeymoon Beach. And I was low on that, so I went to get myself and my wife a refill. And I got up there, and then about 3 or 4 or 5 minutes later, and the bartender was giving me samples because she's like, "What do you think about this? What do you think about that?" I mean, I'm critical. When it comes to the quality of food or drinks, I'm critical, and I'll tell you what I think. And she saw that in me, and she appreciated it. And, I appreciate the free drinks. Her name, I think her name was Brianna on Honeymoon Beach, and she was an amazing bartender. So if you're ever on Honeymoon Beach, right next to where Canil Bay Resort used to be, if you're ever there, Brianna's a good bartender. She makes some amazing drinks. But she was giving me the samples, and I was telling her, yeah, I like this, I don't like that. Yeah, make me a full drink of this, and and make another one for my wife. So that's kind of where I was. And in the process of this, those people that were on the dinghy, they start strolling up. And this is what was so funny. they came up, they ordered drinks, and then they were asking about, paying for the drinks and this, that, and the other. They didn't have credit cards. They didn't have cash or anything. So, it was pretty apparent that these people had rented this dinghy to try to look like they're big shots, and they didn't even have cash to buy a drink. And I mean, I'm not trying to point a finger at these people, but it's just those things when you travel the world. There's the people that are taking advantage of these ultra glitzy and ritzy travel destinations as a way to try to make themselves look like big shots and try to pick up the women or whatever. And it's this world today, it's perception is reality. I know a famous person that once told me perception is reality. And the thing that, irritates people the most, hold on one second, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, sometimes you just need a good fake it until you make it. Louise said that just right. Yeah, fake it until you make it. And that's the funny thing about this. Like, it's and Louise, Tech for Your Needs, man, dude, your YouTube channel. And let me pop over here in another window and share this. Let's see. I gotta pop into to another YouTube. Tech for Your Needs. By the way, that's Tech for Your Needs that's attending this live show. Let's see. Sorry, I'm juggling some windows here. Brent, welcome aboard, sir. Yeah, Tech for Your Needs, huge channel. Check him out. He is on the live show right now. Yeah, it's just, like Tech for Your Needs said, I mean, fake it until you make it. Fake it until you make it. And that's, one of the funniest things. And by the way, I've coined a new phrase, and feel free to share it with others. This is called COVID Cleanse Weekly. So basically what I'm doing is I'm on a live show, and because there's all this stuff floating around in the air and on the floors and everywhere, I'm doing my weekly COVID cleanse with my mystery beverage. Now, will this prevent or cure COVID? Probably not. But does it make me feel better? Yes, it does. And what makes me really feel better is having this big audience here. So, we're in, Martin says, hi, Irix Guy. I'm Martin, ex-Brazil, now Switzerland. Switzerland, very nice. Yes, Brent, please hit the like for Irix Guy. Oh, and feel free to super chat or super sticker if y'all want to do it. Again, not required, no pressure. I know a lot of channels pressure that. I don't. Martin, I bet you know Switzerland. I bet you know JJ Lecoute or JJ Lecoute. Yeah, this isn't rum. I'm doing and I guess I can say what it is. I don't know about the on-air restrictions or whatever, but it's just a good tasty beverage. It's not rum, but it's something similar. But when it really heats up, and when I'm back in my element, when I'm back in the Caribbean, I will be partaking in rum. And that's one of the best things about down there is that you just go in and get some cheap rum that's really good quality. One of my favorite rums when I'm in the USVI, the United States Virgin Islands, is, let's see, what do I usually get there? I'm hitting a blank. It's from St. Croix, Cruisin'. The Cruisin' old dark rum. I can get that in the grocery store pretty much anywhere in St. John and the USVI for next to nothing. Now, when I'm in the BVI, the British Virgin Islands, there's a rum there, and they call it the Navy rum. And this is the rum that used to be rationed to the British naval officers, and it's called Pussers, Pussers. If you ever have an opportunity to check out Pussers rum is super good. I mean, you put it on the rocks, maybe put you a splash of water in there just to break it up a little bit, and I mean that stuff, it's like candy. Pussers rum. It's a British rum. Philippe says in Cuba, the rum is cheaper than Coca-Cola. I don't doubt it, man. I had, not Cuba, but Haiti. I had a Haitian rum. And let's see. Actually, that's interesting you said that. Let me see what the name of that rum was. It was... Well, I'm trying to find it. Oh, here we go. Yeah, this was a memorable experience here. Let's see. So this rum, close to Cuba, and I'll link it in the video chat here. This rum, let's see. That rum right there that I just linked in the chat, it was called Rum Barbancourt from Haiti. So I was on the French side of Saint Martin, the really, I guess you'd say, uppity side of Saint Martin. Went in this really nice grocery store. All the grocery stores down there are really small, but of course I'm cheap and I'm an independent YouTuber, but I needed to drink some quality rum, but I didn't want to spend a premium price. So I found that, and it was Rum Barbancourt from Haiti. And I tell you, man, that stuff, it was good. I mean, and actually one of the commenters, and this was 2 years ago, and I'll quote Gregory. Gregory said, "It's been years since I got my hands on Barbancourt. I used to hear it described as being like a cognac due to their distillation process. I speak French as a second language and could understand what you were reading, even though your pronunciation was kind of unique." Yeah. So, yeah, but I had, and there's another commenter on there, Hog's Breath. They said, "Holy crap, you reading that label had me howling with laughter. LOL, cheers." So, there is stuff to be found throughout the world, and especially the Caribbean. I mean, if you're going down there, I mean, you're like me. If you're like me and you're going down there just to have a good time, and you don't care about, I mean, I don't know. I've never had a problem in the Caribbean, but the problem I have now, and this is prompted by Philippe's comment earlier. How soon will it be safe to travel again? And that's the biggest unknown. That's the biggest fear because, this channel, IrixGuy's Adventure Channel, I mean, everything I do, I mean, this channel, filming these videos, editing these videos, publishing these videos, promoting these videos, all that I'm doing, number one, because, yeah, I like editing and I like good, cool footage and tropical places and this, that, and the other. I like the mountains too. I mean, there's nothing wrong with, I'm not beach only, but there's just something about capturing and creating this content and, and it's lessons learned along the way. I mean, I know throughout the past week, Philippe and I have been chatting. You know, he's been to St. Martin, but he had questions about Anguilla. And then I said, well, you know, if you're going to Anguilla, be sure to check out St. Bart's as well. You know, just the opportunity to use YouTube as a tool to, you know, to generate advertising revenue, and then be able to use that to travel and experience places. I mean, you know, the places I go, you know, I'm not someone that's into status. You know, I'm not going to a place and saying, oh, I'm going to stay at the insert big chain here, you know, expensive $500-$600 a night chain. That means nothing to me. The resort experience means nothing to me. And I know it means a lot to a lot of people. You know, a lot of people want to feel pampered. A lot of people want to feel safe. I don't care about that. You know, when I travel, what I care about is, okay, you know, I've performed my research on YouTube. I performed my research on Google. You know, I haven't been to this location. You know, something that I'll do with a lot of destinations, a lot of the, you know, less, you know, more off of the beaten path, Turks and Caicos and St. Kitts are two examples of that. You know, places where a lot of people haven't posted a lot of content already. You know, places I can go and kind of say, okay, well, you know, I kind of know, in a nutshell, I know that, you know, this may be a good restaurant, this may be a good beach, this may be a good day trip. You know, what are the other activities? You know, I have a high level understanding of what I may be able to find in that travel destination. But I don't know, and Philippe says you don't want to stay in a dump. You definitely don't want to stay in a dump. You know, and there was a time, and I think it was during a live show the other day, I was talking to Philippe, and I said, yeah, man, I said, you know, there was a place, really nice place, and I'm not bashing it in any way. And let me see if I've got a link to that video here. Let me see if I can pull that up for us. But talking about, you know, you don't want to stay in, and this was, no, and by no means this was not a dump, but just to respond to your comment, let me see here. I will find it. Yeah, here we go. Here's the link. And don't take my comments the wrong way, because I don't mean this negative at all, but this was a place that I stayed, and this was in the infancy of my Caribbean travels, because, you know, ultimately, you know, this channel, IrixGuy's Adventure Channel, I've created this to, no, Loveville Lodge St. Bart's is an exclusive property. That is incredible. That's among, well, I wouldn't say among, I would say that is the best hotel I've ever stayed at. And by it being a boutique hotel, and by me picking the least expensive room, I still had the resort experience because I went to the pool. Which, regardless of, you know, if you've got the cheapest room or the most expensive room, you're still using that pool. So I had the resort experience. You know, when I put my head on the pillow, I was in the less expensive room. But yeah, the place that I just linked was in St. Thomas, and, you know, and I'll share this story with this live show. I know I shared it with Philippe the other day. He was asking me again, you know, about Anguilla, and you know, and then I pitched St. Bart's, and I mean, I'm a strong advocate of St. Bart's. I mean, that is an incredible place. But yeah, this was during my infancy of Caribbean travel, and I mean, prior to that, you know, and this channel, if you haven't researched it, I mean, I started out, I had a cruise ship video, so I went on a cruise, just a rinky-dink cruise ship poured out of, it was a place called Mobile, Alabama, and I went on the, and I'll link you all that video, just kind of show you where this adventure began. And let's see, Carnival. I'm going to link that and I'll elaborate here. Let's see. Carnival. Oh, I went to the wrong one. So I've only been on 2 cruise ships, and I'll explain why here in a minute. So Carnival, okay, this was back in 2010. So IrixGuy's Adventure Channel was birthed in 2010, and this is the video that started it all, and it doesn't have a ton of views in contrast to more current videos, but this video right here that I'm linking, the Carnival Elation video. So basically what happened, and this was back in a place called Mobile, Alabama in 2010. It's a port, it's a cruise ship port, not too far from New Orleans. But so I went on this affordable cruise out of an affordable port in Mobile, Alabama, and this was the least expensive cruise that was available. I never cruised. My wife had never cruised. We flew to Hawaii the year before that, and went down there. I was actually in Hawaii. I was actually going to propose in Hawaii, but I just said, heck with it. I'm going to go ahead and propose before we go to Hawaii, because I didn't, me being a money pincher, I didn't want to go to Hawaii and incur that expense if she had said no. So I said, heck with it. I'm just going to propose in the United States, and then and forego the proposal in Hana, Maui, which is it's in the mountainous region of Maui, really nice place. But so anyway, so that was 2009, and then in 2010 we went on our first cruise, and it was out of this place called Mobile, Alabama, on the Carnival Elation, the video that I just linked. Very affordable cruise ship port, very affordable cruise, and the risk and reward to me was minimal. At the time, I was not a YouTuber. I did not realize that there was an opportunity to make money from YouTube. I was just having a good time, and I had a cheap, I think it was like $100 point-and-shoot waterproof camera that wasn't really waterproof that I filmed that video with. But that's the video that, at the time, Google YouTube Partner Program was by invitation only. So, it was a situation where you couldn't monetize your videos unless you were invited to be a partner. So what that video did, it enabled Google to find me. And for whatever reason, I don't know if it was a keyword, Carnival Elation, Mobile, Alabama cruise ship port. I don't know what it was that pointed them towards me, but they came to me and Google said, hey, do you want to become a YouTube partner? And typically an email like that, I would say, I'm not going to do this. It's a spam, blah, blah, blah. But since it came from Google, I felt that it was probably a legitimate opportunity. Long story short, that cruise ship video that I just linked, that cruise ship video is what enabled me to realize that there's a financial opportunity with filming and traveling, and that's why the COVID-19 has really impacted me, because I can't travel right now, and I feel boxed up. I'm locked into the studio, which is fine. I mean, as long as it's temporary. But that's the video that taught me that, hey, there's a financial opportunity to travel. So by doing that, when I go to these places, yes, I want to go to the Caribbean islands that are known, that people know about. But I don't want to go to the ones that are cookie cutter. What do I mean by cookie cutter? Well, if you go to an island that, it's only got, insert popular resort chain here. I don't care about the resort experience. I don't care about the cookie cutter experience. That's not my demographic. My demographic is, okay, this is a popular island, but how do I go there? What can I see? I'm not a multimillionaire. What can I do if I go there? How can I do it on a budget? These are the questions that I ask myself, and these are the questions that assist me with planning the next travel location. Now, this year, 2020, my goal, but because of COVID-19, I'm not able to do it. Unless it clears up. My goal for 2020 was to go to Curacao, which is a small island outside of, not too far from South America. It's supposed to be really nice. I know nothing about it. Everything I know is what I've learned from, from Google searches and word of mouth from others. But, I look for the good locations where I can have a good time, where I can go and spend my own money, but the good locations where I can go and spend my own money and feel somewhat confident that when I do that, that I can capture video content that's of enough value for others that are searching and researching travel locations to be able to better prepare and better plan their own adventures to that location. And then looking at my videos, I can say, okay, well, we had dining questions. Your videos answered that. Well, what was the best beach? Your videos answered that. where can we stay? We don't want the resort. We want something that's nice but still affordable. How can we accomplish that? And then how close is that to destination XYZ? And then how safe is it? And where do I rent a car? Or do I rent a moped? How do I get a taxi? There's so many things that come into play. So it's kind of been a game. A game from the perspective that it's like, I can fathom incurring the expense for these travel destinations if I have a somewhat confident feeling that I'll hopefully be able to recoup my expense. And and that's something that I enjoy traveling. And travel should not only be a business, but if you can make travel a business, and realize that this is not just hey, let's pack our bags, let's forget about everything, let's put down our internet, let's go dark for a week or 2 weeks, whatever. If you can mentally condition yourself to say, okay, this is a very exotic location. Yes, it's going to cost a lot of money, but it's kind of like the person at work. The person at work that doesn't perform. If they're just there and they're not producing, they're of no value. In this adventure model, and I don't want to call it a business model, but this adventure model that I have here at the IrixGuy's Adventure Channel, I know that when I'm going on a vacation, it's not a vacation. It is a vacation destination, but it's a business trip. So I'm going there for the sole purpose of capturing all this content, bringing this content back so that I can then monetize the content, the views of the content, so that people researching the same or similar travel destinations will hopefully stumble upon my content, and hopefully it will provide quality value. And what I mean by quality value, it's not just a video of a beach. It's not just a video of a restaurant. It's, hey, this guy, if you watch his channel, youtube.com/IrixGuy, Captain IrixGuy, if you watch his channel, you may respect his opinion. And if you watch his videos, and if you choose to follow his advice, again, I'm not forcing anyone's hands, but if you choose to follow his advice, you may find, and I hope you will find within his videos, that the opinions stated were accurate. You go to whatever restaurant, you order what I ordered. Everybody's palate's different, but if you order it, at a minimum, that description should be accurate, because I created the video and I shared the video with others. So it's kind of a for me it's a game. I don't play video games. I used to in the past, but to me this is a game, because I get the adventure of researching. I get the adventure of traveling to this place where I've never been. And I do have repeat destinations, but every time I go, I try to mix up, what I experience there. And it's also the adventure of editing the video and then sharing with others, and the adventure of interacting with the audience and saying, oh, okay, you're looking for this, let me suggest this. So I'm not a tour guide. I'm not a travel guide. Ultimately, I'll be frank, I'm just having a good time. This is an opportunity for me to have a good time, with the understanding that this is not just having a good time. If I was going to these places on my own, going down there just for fun, just for pleasure, and I wasn't filming videos and distributing those videos on YouTube, it would be a money pit. But since I am able to go down there, and I'm encouraged to go to as many places as I can, because I know that when I go to these places, I'm capturing content that's unique, niche, however you want to say it. I'm capturing niche content, whatever way you want to say it, that will provide value, and I'm confident it'll provide value. But I'm having a good time, and that's what matters. If it's the false perception in this world today is that the false perception is that work cannot be fun. But the reality is that work can be fun if one enjoys the destinations that their work takes them to. And in my case, it's the Caribbean. It's all over the Caribbean, and I love this. And I mean, it's fun, and I don't mean this in an arrogant way, but it's fun to be able to speak about locations. I mean, some of which, like St. Bart's. Oh man, that's ultra snooty. You got to have a yacht to get there. Some of these locations that are perceived as I'm trying to think of a good way to put it, places that are unrealistic to go. But the reality is that, and what I try to do with this channel is make everywhere approachable. Because again, the perception of a place like St. Bart's is that, well, God, if I don't have a mega yacht or if I don't have a jet, and by the way, you can't even fly your own private jet into St. Bart's because the runway is too short. But, to be able to make even the perceived undoable locations doable, that's my goal. And I'm not saying you got to go in and nickel and dime yourself, but a good example, Bermuda's expensive. I mean, if you come from, if your currency is a U.S. dollar and you go to Bermuda, I mean, you are gonna feel financially strained after the first day because of the price of food. And that's what a lot of people would say, okay, well, that's too expensive. And they would throw in the towel at that point. At that comment, they would say, it's not even doable. But the reality is, if you go to Bermuda with the understanding that, hey man, things are going to be turbo expensive. From what I'm accustomed to spending for food, it's going to be super expensive. But if you go there knowing that and you plan ahead, here's what I do for Bermuda. So I take an extra suitcase, and again, airline rates may vary, but hopefully because of COVID-19, when travel reopens, hopefully we'll have some really good travel deals. But, something I always do, I pack an extra checked suitcase when I go to Bermuda, and within that suitcase, I pack non-perishable food items. So I've got beef jerky, I've got granola bars, I've got Pop-Tarts, I've also got some toilet paper. So that check bag, I load it up with as much as possible because that's my money saver. Yeah, sure, it may cost, whatever the airline may charge, $25, $35, $50, $75, I don't know, whatever the rate may be. When I take that, what I'm doing, I'm feeding myself every morning before I start my daily adventure. So if I'm in Bermuda for, say, 9 nights, I've at least got breakfast covered. And I'm a foodie. I'm a chef, and I like to cook. And, I'm a chef. I'm not a chef from school, but I'm a self-proclaimed chef. I love to cook. And I like to eat good food. So when I'm in Bermuda, what I will do is I will go out for lunch because lunch is typically less expensive than dinner. So I'll eat a good meal. I'll have my Bermudian fish chowder. I'll have a rum swizzle and just eat like a king. And then for dinner, I may get something out, or, when I get to Bermuda, I may go in the cheap, the less expensive grocery store and get some cheese and some crackers and eat that kind of stuff for dinner. And then, granted, I will have one fine dinner out, at least one fine dinner out while I'm in Bermuda. And then I'll ride a moped because gas is cheap. Taxis in Bermuda will rip your financial strings out. The buses are affordable, but there's only certain bus routes. And unless you're a Bermudian, you cannot rent a rental car in Bermuda. At least the last time I was there, you couldn't. I went there with STK's Adventure Channel, the last trip. But yeah, it's making these perceived inaccessible or unaffordable locations approachable. And that's something I like to do with this channel. If I can go to St. Bart's, if I can go to Bermuda and I can do it on a budget without feeling like I nickel and dime myself so much that I didn't have a good time, the reality is when you get to these spots throughout the day, during the day, your adventures are going to be taking you, around the island, and you're going to be on beaches, you're going to be doing this, that, and the other. So whether you're staying in a super expensive place or you're staying in an affordable location, all that is a bed and a pillow. Yeah, you don't want bugs. You don't want this, that, and the other. And that segues me back to the link that I sent to Philippe, and that was about St. Thomas. St. Thomas is a great place. And during the infancy of my Caribbean travels, one of the mistakes I made, even if you're high in the jungle canopy on an island that has terrain that's not just flat, it's still going to be a little bit warm if you're accustomed to sleeping with an air conditioner on. So, with that being the case, for your vacation rentals, always make sure that you check to make sure that it has a functional air conditioning unit. Otherwise, you're probably going to be a little bit hot. And if you're not hot, you're probably still going to have insects, because when you open the windows, even though there may be screens in the windows, those screens aren't necessarily as good as the screens that you have in in the mainland where your building supplies are more plentiful. So just a pro tip there about traveling in the Caribbean. But this like Carlell says, have you bought a new Evo 2 yet? And your opinions on it? You know what? And it's nothing against Autel, but I never bought an Autel. And the reason I never bought an Autel was during the early days of Autel when they were at CES, and it was after their, Evo. They had the original drone, and then they were at CES, Consumer Electronics Show, and they were touting this drone that was a second drone, and though it had an option for a 360 VR spherical camera, whatever you want to call it. It had an option, I think it was thermal. That drone never materialized. At least to my knowledge, it never materialized. Then they came out with Autel Evo 2, and at that point I had no interest because they kind of cried wolf. They were at CES. They had something at CES on paper that seemed promising. I mean, modular camera, oh, that's nice. Don't have to use tools, that's nice. Yeah, I can use a 360 camera, that's sweet. But it never materialized. And for that reason, I couldn't, and given their price point, and sure, it's not astronomical compared to DJI, but given their price point, I couldn't fathom assuming the risk of buying into that product from a company that didn't have the name recognition and and just the longevity that DJI had. And I would love to see someone try to compete with DJI, because I think, for more rapid innovation, for better prices for the consumer, competition, is somewhat mandatory. And that's something I'm an advocate of competition, and I would love to see someone step up and compete with DJI, but I don't think it's Autel. And it's definitely not GoPro. I mean, GoPro threw in the towel with drones, and I have no idea what's that other company, Unique. I have no idea where they are right now. And there's another one, a new one, and I think it's a crowd-funded deal. It's Skydio. Yeah, Skydio. I don't know, man. I don't know, but yeah, I don't have, and again, not bashing them in any way, but because of that CES Consumer Electronics Show experience, I have no desire to pick up an Autel product, and it's because of CES. Now, if they release that drone that they talked about at CES, well, now it'd be obsolete. But if they released a current model of that drone that was touted at CES, I think it'd be pretty cool. Cardell says, spec-wise, it looks amazing, but I think I'll stick with DJI. It's one of those things, and this is what's really weird, and I'll throw a wrench, I'll toss a wrench at all of y'all right now. Oh, by the way, if you're watching, feel free to super chat or super sticker. I've got that ability enabled. But yeah, I think sticking with DJI. I know it kind of sounds boring. It's kind of like, well, I'm a Mac user, and by the way, I never used to be a Mac user. I didn't switch to Mac until OS 10 came out. Prior to OS 10, I was building my own x86 Linux boxes. I ran Slackware Linux, and I ran Red Hat Linux, and what was the other one? Was it Mandriva? I'm trying to remember the name. And Debian. Yeah, I ran all the Linuxes. But when Mac OS 10 came out, there was a Unix operating system, and had a large variety of applications available for it, I kind of switched to Mac. But it's kind of like DJI. A lot of people pit Apple and DJI in the same pot. They say, DJI is the Apple of drones, and I think that's a fair statement. I mean, they've got a good product. They've got they've got the unveilings of these products. It's very Apple-like. They've got a press release, and they get up on stage and prance around and show off the new product. They've got packaging that's very similar to an Apple product. It's very clean. It's very minimalist. And you open it up, it reveals a very quality product. The product performs well. I'll say the only DJI product that I've owned to date that I didn't like, and it was not a drone, but it was the the DJI Ronin S, the gimbal for the camera. Ah, man, I never could get that thing to work right with my Sony Alpha, and that was a shame. But that's the only DJI product that I've had that I was deeply disappointed with. The second tier would have been the DJI Spark, only because the DJI Spark, the battery life was not sufficient. And obviously you didn't get the 4K with it. But I think sticking with DJI is a safe thing to do now. But with that being said, I get a lot of people saying, "Oh man, you're just a DJI fanboy," and I'm not. I mean, it's just that DJI is the only brand that has continued to impress me. So, I hope that if you're watching this, you accept that as a challenge, and you try to step it up and try to compete with DJI and release something that'll fascinate me. Because I want something new. I want something different. I want something that doesn't only have the DJI brand on it. With that said, Mavic Air 2 is right around the corner, and as soon as that comes out, we're going to have the unboxing video, the review video, the field test video, and a whole lot more here on the channel. So, as soon as I get my paws on it, again, I don't do pre-release. I'm not that guy that's, ooh, well, you see a drone video and it's like the drone releases, and then immediately you see that person's review and the field test professionally edited, audio, lighting, everything to the T. Carell says, any new FAA rules for drones that you dislike? One thing I don't talk about, and it's just because of the political element, obviously, whatever I do, I make sure I'm in compliance with whatever the current regulations are, but I never speak about anything that could be perceived as political, because I know we've all got our own opinions. And I don't mean this in a negative way, but I'm responding like that because, I want to keep on this channel. Welcome, Brad. I want to keep the focus on this channel upon okay, here it is out of the box. Here it is in the field. And I want to keep myself disassociated with any of the perceived political components of it. Again, everything I do is safe and responsible. And I mean, you can watch my drone videos. You can watch my in the studio, my field test videos, and you will see that I am ultra, and I hope you do, and I hope that you'll feel that I'm ultra safety conscious when I'm filming these videos. So, Brad says, any thoughts on Mavic 3 timeline? I just started my own new small drone business. Oh, congrats on the drone business, man. Here's my assumption. The Mavic Air 2 is about to drop. It's probably going to drop on the 27th. Stay tuned to IrixGuy.com, epicdroneshow.com. But I bet if my assumption is correct, to answer your question regarding the Mavic 3, I would say that Mavic 3 is probably slated towards the holiday season. But I will say that cautiously because COVID. There's a lot of uncertainties surrounding COVID-19, and my assumption is that probably what we're going to see, one of two things. I'm going to say with 98% certainty, we're going to see Mavic Air 2 on the 27th. With Mavic Air 2 coming out, I look at Mavic Air 2 as kind of we've done our duty. We've we've released something new, and people can play with that and have fun with it. But I think if COVID conditions improve, I think that Mavic 3, to your point, late summer or fall, I would lean towards more towards fall, because that'll give Mavic Air 2 more time to breathe in the interim. But I think that if COVID goes away, I think what we're probably going to see is a Mavic 3, late fall or Christmas season. And fall would be about right, because people could, they could be purchasing their Christmas gifts at that time. If COVID does not clear, I have a feeling that probably what we'll see is no Mavic 3 in 2020. I think probably what we'll see at that point is the continued push from DJI to, hey, if you're looking for for a more affordable drone, here's Mavic Air 2. It's brand new. We released it on April 27th. But if you want the Pro drone, here's our Mavic 2 Pro. Oh, and by the way, we've, and I think it may become a situation at that point where they may take, say, the Mavic 2 Pro and the Mavic 2 Zoom. And remember those drones? What was it? Phantom 4 Obsidian and the Mavic Pro Platinum. Remember, they kind of did a mild refresh. I think they put some new propellers on there and a different paint job, and they called it new. I think if COVID-19 prevents the Mavic 3 from releasing this year, I think that's probably what we'll see is more of a refresh of the Mavic 2 product to just kind of tide people over, or at least create the perception of tiding people over until Mavic 3 releases in 2021. But it could release in 2020. That's my professional opinion. Alpine white. There you go. Or maybe they come up with something really cool like COVID green. I mean, who knows? This is a COVID green Mavic 2 edition. It's actually kind of a cool marketing thing. This is a COVID green Mavic 2 edition. Fly and everyone else will run away. I mean, you never know. I mean, and that by the way would be poor marketing, because you're using at that point someone would be using a pandemic to market, and that is ethically wrong. That is morally wrong in my opinion. So that was just a sick joke. Why not? But yeah, I mean we're gonna get through this, and I mean we're gonna talk back to Philippe about the travel. I mean, I know we're stir crazy. I mean, I will tell you, and in the positive aspect of this is that, at least for me, one of the positive aspects has been just having. Let me see if I can pop it back up here. Yeah, actually I can. Let me do that. Yeah, so one of the positive aspects of this, I mean, just look at this. Look at my studio right now. I mean, just look at how clean this is. I mean, the floor, I mean, that's shiny, man. That is shiny. I mean, I put this new floor in the studio. I didn't put it in. I had it professionally installed, but it's just a cheap laminate. I mean, look at that. No spots. You don't even see, if you, say, for example, you walk outside and you get some moisture from the grass on your feet, and then it kind of stains your floor. You don't even see that. That is how clean I've kept this. I mean, I've been hyper vigilant about keeping everything as clean and professional as possible because of COVID-19. I've got my treadmill over there. I've been actually, fortunate enough to be able to walk outside and keep my social distance. So even though I am getting fat, I'm not getting as fat as I thought I would. I'm eating junk. I need to, I can't wait till COVID clears so I can get some quality food. But yeah, I got my little collection over there. Let's see, let me zoom in on that, see if this will let me zoom. Oh, it does, yeah. Or does it? It doesn't zoom in the app, no. This is cool. This is Wirecast that I'm using, and it's got this virtual camera here, so I'm just kind of like nerding out over it. And so you can see right here, this is my Wirecast control panel. So when y'all are seeing me, see there's that shot right there is my main camera, which is my webcam, and then that's my intro and my outro. And then this is a camera right here that's live now. And you can see it showing there, but it's also showing here. So when you're in when you're in my app, this is what the live view is. It's what you see right there. And then that's my tasty beverage that I've been enjoying because, I'm just trying to, it's kind of my COVID cleanse. You just gotta, you don't have to, but I mean, it's just good to get that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm crazy. I mean, maybe I just think that, if I have this cleanse day, and I have the tasty beverage of my choice, and and maybe if there's some COVID in my throat, maybe that'll clear it out. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it may not. I'm still quarantining, but even with the quarantine, I often think about, well, when I walk to the mailbox, even though I don't use the handle, I use the side to open it. But what if I came in contact with something? Or, what if the Chef Boyardee that I'm ordering, even though I'm vigilant about cleaning the cardboard and cutting and not breathing in the fumes when I cut the cardboard, because that could make the COVID go airborne. Even though I'm hyper vigilant about all of this, what if it's not enough? And what if this fine beverage, what if it may kill whatever COVID may be in my throat? I mean, who knows? I mean, I know I'm super paranoid, but it's just, and some people say, well, maybe that's an excuse